Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. We are here today with Jerry Clark. Jerry is the Director of Cloud Development for US Signal Company. Jerry, tell us about US Signal Company.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. No, I appreciate the intro, and hopefully everybody can see the US Signal logo on the screen there. I did put together a short agenda for our meeting today, and we'll just dive right into the US Signal review. But let me introduce myself first, just so everybody knows a little bit about me. As Scott mentioned, my role at US Signal is Director of Cloud Sales Development, but I've been in IT space since the beginning of time. Right out of college, I was fixing circuit boards on the very first IBM PC, so that's back before hard drives. I'm a T-Rex. I've been around a while. Did that for about 3 years right out of college, and then I started my own IT business that for 16 years. 2004, sold to a large copier company that was expanding into IT. And now, like I mentioned, my role at US Signal is to work with MSPs, consulting firms, large and small integrators all over the country, and help them with US Signal's managed private cloud portfolio of services. And that's what we'll talk about here real quick. What you see on the screen there is a picture of US Signal headquarters in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan. Been around 20 years in operation. We have just over 300 employees.
Wow.
We started out and still are a carrier, so we own a very large fiber network spanning into 10 states. We also own and operate 8 data centers. They're all strategically located in the upper Midwest, and according to FEMA, that is the safest spot in our country for data centers and cloud. Down in the bottom left, you will see all the compliances we carry. More importantly, though, notice right above that, we are a VMware and Cisco certified cloud provider. And everyone, that is not for the faint of hearts. We are audited 6 times a year. 4 by the compliances that we carry. We're mandated to go through audits and I wouldn't say certification, but they stamp the approval and say, okay, you're meeting all the requirements for compliance. And then when you add in VMware and Cisco audits, it puts us under the microscope annually 6 times. But what it's done for us as an organization is give us the confidence to deliver a written 100% uptime guarantee on our cloud environment. So we are always on, never down. In the right there, off to the right, highlighted in red, it's the number one thing that we hear from our clients, our partners, our customers, why they chose US Signals. They can pick up the phone at 3 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon. They're guaranteed to be speaking to an engineer in less than 60 seconds. It's usually around 30, but we guarantee less than 60 seconds, you have an engineer on the phone. You don't go through a call tree, no answering service. You're connected directly to that engineer in about 30 seconds. We'll try that with Microsoft, right, or Amazon.
That's beautiful. No, you won't get there with Microsoft.
Yeah, you know it. Now, this slide just speaks to what I mentioned just a minute ago. Why data centers and cloud make the most sense in the upper Midwest. There's 4 pretty compelling reasons. We don't get earthquakes up here. We're not about to get pounded by hurricanes. We're also in a very low tornado risk area, unlike Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas. We know the lower Midwest gets the big boys. I mentioned FEMA. They've actually deemed Michigan to be the 2nd best state next to Alaska for data centers and cloud, not only because of these 4 reasons. Also, most people don't know this, but Michigan is split down the center between an east and a west power grid. So we offer Geo-Diversity in our data centers. A lot of people think, I need to be on the East Coast for my production site, and I need another data center on the West Coast for my DR site, so I can have that Geo-Diversity. You don't have to be that far apart to get that power grid separation. We're really proud of that.
Excellent.
Now, this is just a map of our 100 gig backbone. That's our 100 gig fiber network traversing 10 states. I like to just show this for a minute or two just to talk about why our fiber network plays a huge role in our cloud program. What it's done for us now through the 20 years is give us the ability to be peered or connected with every major ISP in the country. There's over 100 ISPs that have a physical connection right into that 100 gig fiber network you see on the screen there. So what that translates to is low national latency. No matter where a business is located in our country, from their originating ISP, their office, they're a couple hops away, puts them right on our 100 gig backbone, carries them right into their private cloud environment that one of you could be managing for them. Let me give you an example. From San Diego all the way across the country to our upper Midwest data centers is only 39 milliseconds. And that is why we attract so many enterprise clients, hospitals, banks, financial organizations, manufacturers. When they do latency tests and compare us to the public cloud providers and anybody else, they're floored, they're shocked. I've had them even call me and said, Jer, I just got done doing a latency test on 5 different locations in the country, and you beat Amazon and Microsoft. And I always bring them back to this slide because we all forget. I always say, hey, remember, it's our fiber network. What do you mean? Well, because we're peered with every major ISP in the country, and it shortens the hops. They're like, oh, that's right. No wonder it's so fast. Now, this is a map of where our data centers are. As I mentioned early on, right there on that opening slide, everything at US Signal is Cisco gear, including our network. That fiber network spans between all of our data centers, end-to-end Cisco gear, all Cisco certified infrastructure, and VMware certified. So we deliver cloud to our partners one of 2 ways, or both. We have clients that use both. VMware is one of them. So we give you your own VMware portal, and then we provision the CPU, the RAM, the storage, the bandwidth that you need for each one of your clients. So, I mean, when you think about that, right, the public cloud providers, they're out there, they're sharing and they're aggregating their firewall and their internet. At US Signal, everything's private. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more on another slide. But so again, we give you the VMware, we give you the compute, the storage, the bandwidth, and we get out of your way. We let you build your servers your way. We don't have pre-built instances and templates like Amazon and Microsoft and force feed you into that model. Sometimes it's like a square peg in a round hole. They just don't always fit right. So again, just to summarize on the VMware access, VMware portal, Cisco infrastructure, N plus like 5, always on, 100% SLA, and you build your servers just like you would if it was your own environment or a customer's on-prem environment. The second way is our Virtual Workspace portal. Now, this is a platform as a service. It sits right on top of our VMware environment, and it enables you, the MSP from your office, to add a new customer, add their users. Couple clicks, you've provisioned terminal services or a VDI desktop, and you add their apps. So you can do those 4 things in a matter of minutes. Add a customer, add their users, provision servers without even touching VMware, and add all their applications. And I'm going to just give you a demo of that portal in a few moments. But it's a real game changer for MSPs that want to deliver cloud desktops. Excellent. Now, we also have 5 upstream internet providers. So again, this all factors into that 100% SLA that I was talking about earlier. Always on infrastructure, always on internet. We constantly get asked, what makes US Signal different from every cloud provider out there? And, for time's sake, I'm not going to go through every bullet point because the slide deck is always available. This video will be on recording. You can watch it again. But the ones in red are the ones that our partners actually tell us why they chose US Signal. I mentioned that 60-second technical operations center response time. By far, that is number 1. Number 2, low national latency. I can't tell you that how many MSPs and their customers, when they perform that latency test, they're shocked at the speed to US Signal Cloud. No egress fees is number 3. So we don't meter and monitor data in and out. And then you get that unpredictable bill next month for all your customer downloads they did this month. I cannot tell you how many MSP partners we have that get very frustrated with the unpredictability of the public cloud providers, specifically Amazon and Microsoft. These egress fees are really out of control, and it's hard to manage the bills for their customers. The fiber between our data centers, right? So I mentioned that plays a vital role in a lot of ways, not just because it helps lower national latency through our peering partners, but let me show you this diagram here.
Okay.
This is a top-level view of what our infrastructure looks like when an MSP provisions a customer at US Signal. They get 2 data centers, one for their production environment and one they can optionally use for backup and maybe even replication. Now they're geo-diverse, so they're on an east and a west power grid. But here's the really cool part. Notice between the data centers, we include for free high-speed fiber. Now, when you think about that for a minute, there's not a cloud provider in the world that brings this level of sophistication to a business. Dual data centers, geo-diversity, and then for free, a point-to-point fiber circuit with 3 millisecond latency between the data centers. There's nothing like that out there. Now, on the left, that single pane of glass, this could be VMware as you log in, excuse me, or it could also be the Virtual Workspace management portal. From a VMware perspective, when you log in, you have complete visibility into both data centers. So you're in control of your production environment. You're also in control of managing your backups if that's what you want to do. We have managed backup services, but a lot of MSPs like to manage their own. They can set their own recovery times because you have compute and storage down here. So if something ever happened to the production data center, God help us, it would have to be a meteor or a sinkhole or some really weird, phenomenon for that data center to have a problem. But also MSPs are backing up their on-premise clients right into the secondary data center. And again, they're in control of RPOs and RTOs because they're managing the infrastructure there as well. We include with every VMware deployment a dedicated firewall just for that client. It's a Palo Alto top-of-the-line security appliance, comes with unlimited VPN, site-to-site and client VPNs. We also provision a dedicated internet port coming directly into that firewall. So again, stop and think about that for a minute. The public cloud providers, they aggregate the internet and the firewall between hundreds, if not thousands of clients. Everything at US Signal is private, segmented, and in my opinion, much more secure. So the next thing I want to do is to show you a brief overview of the Virtual Workspace management portal. And then I'm going to show you a very simple to use pricing tool. Because how hard is it to get pricing from Amazon and Microsoft? You know what I mean? I think
it's like pulling teeth.
It should be on the list of differentiating factors because we very much simplified that, and I'll go through that in a minute. But let me just jump over to the Virtual Workspace Management Portal. Now, this is the portal that would be deployed in your office, let's say, right? So I'm logged in as an MSP called ABC Services. I've actually provisioned a couple clients, Best Legal and Pinpoint Accounting. I'm going to drill down into Best Legal. Now, you can see easily working from left to right, this is how quick and easy it is to provision, users, servers, and apps. And I'm going to go through that very quickly. But before I do, you can see down below, there's some advanced settings. We even have multi-factor authentication built right into the platform. That is huge, especially in today's, cybersecurity warfare that's going on out there. I'm going to move over to users and groups. This is where you add all your users. I've got one user added just for demo purposes. You can click add, you can add them manually, or you can import a whole bunch of them from a file. So if you've got more than, 5 or 6, you're going to want to use the import. Once your users are provisioned, you can quickly add groups. So if you want to segment certain people into access to different software applications, that's easily done through the groups. And you also have level 1 capabilities, so I can reset their password right here without even going to the server. I can, disable their workspace, delete it. And when I edit it, this is where you can turn on some more advanced features, multi-factor authentication, account expiration, things like that. But also you can create a VDI user. So a VDI user is a dedicated server, a dedicated virtual machine per user. So, again, dedicated CPU, dedicated RAM, all for that user. So it's really, really slick. Let me go back up here to users and groups. Now, once again, once your users are provisioned, your groups are set up, you can go over to servers. This is where you actually build out your 2 different types of servers. Most MSPs will do a terminal server for 5 to 10, 15 users. You can put everybody on one server. It scales. So in other words, for every user that you add, we add additional CPU and RAM. We make sure every user has a fantastic experience. We'll talk more about the different types of logins they get. They also have the ability to provision what we call a data server. The data server could be an application server. It could be a SQL server, some type of database server, but also it's used for that VDI user. So every private VDI user gets their own dedicated virtual machine with dedicated compute. Once your servers are provisioned, which just takes a few minutes, you click a button here over on the right, you've got some level 2 capabilities for that server. So I can reboot it if I need to. I can stop it. I can actually connect right to it. So that's what I'll do here real quick. So I'm literally logging in right now to that terminal server directly from the platform. So I don't have to go to VMware. I don't have to do RDP. I'm going to just jump to that server. I'm logged in as an admin, and now I can do, perf mon. I can look at Task Manager. I can load applications. Whatever I need to do, I have full capability as an admin. So I'm just going to log back out. We're not going to spend a lot of time here.
That was super quick, by the way.
Well, that's that low national latency, Scott. It's super fast.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to that, how quick that was.
I agree with you. So again, the streamline to use this portal is super slick. You start with your organizations, you add one, you create your users in groups, you deploy your servers in minutes, and then you add their software. So it's really, really easy. Every order that we take, your first one, what we do is we do it for you. You can watch over the shoulder. So you join our team after some discovery that we go through because we want to know what apps you want loaded, how many users, etc. And then we set up a meeting and we actually build out your environment for you while you watch. We record it so you get a copy of it. Once it's deployed and ready for testing, you have your users log in the next day or that day and give us the green light that everything's working, and then you're off and running. You have the management portal now at your office, so your next group of 5 or 10 or whatever you want to deploy, you can do it yourself. If you need help, remember, you can call our talk, and you got an engineer on the phone in about 30 seconds. They're going to help you. You can access our talk 24/7, 365. They're right in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They're not overseas somewhere. You can call them, you can email them, you can chat with them. So there's 3 ways to actually, connect to our talk. The user experience, this is what it looks like for your users. They have 2 ways to access their Windows desktop in the cloud. They can use an HTML browser, or you can put a shortcut, an RDS little shortcut on their desktop. Most everybody's using the Virtual Workspace HTML interface. So keep this in mind too, this area where it says Virtual Workspace, we can brand this with the MSP logo.
Oh,
so
nice.
All their, all the customers will have an branded by the MSP, or even the customer's logo, whatever they want, we can do that for them. But let me just connect as Betty Smith here. It'll show you how fast that connects as well. Super quick, in a matter of 3-4 seconds, you got a Windows desktop up. So super
Beautiful.
quick. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. Just want to show you what it looks like, what the user experience is like. So that covers just the high-level view of the Virtual Workspace Manager, where you can deploy your servers and users, and it also covers the user experience. What I want to show you next is our calculator tool. Everybody will get a copy of this too. We'll make sure, Scott, you have it. They can download it from your files on your Facebook if they want. We can put it in there. But it's super simple to use. There's 4 tabs. The 4th tab is kind of a bonus tab. It is a TCO, total cost of ownership analysis, comparing an on-premise refresh, comparing it to the cloud. You can just slide our logo out, put your logo in, and it actually prints out a nice 1-page comparison. So you fill in all your hardware, your managed services costs. It even compares converting PCs to thin clients, power and cooling here. And at the bottom, you've got a number that you can actually talk about with your clients, because every client wants to know the difference in cost between a full move to the cloud or staying on premise. So now you have a template that you guys can actually take and use and modify, make it your own. Again, it's not the end all be all. It's not meant to be that. It's meant to give you a template for you guys to actually, use and build out the way you want. The server assessment tab is the first one on the left, and this is where we always start when we start to, build out an environment. The calculators have all the pricing, but again, we like to start here on the server assessment because it helps us get organized and focused and understand what does the customer current environment look like, or what are they looking to build in the cloud? So we asked some questions right up front. Well, how many users do they have? They got 40 in this example. How many servers do they have? They have 3, but it could be 30 or 300. We still put it on a spreadsheet like this. Then we look at the role of each server. In this example, they've got a primary domain controller they're sharing with QuickBooks and a file server. They want to stand up a couple terminal servers for those remote desktops.
Okay.
We dive in and look at the CPU, RAM, and storage requirements of each server. Ultimately, once we understand the design, what does it look like today or what do they want to build out, we look to capture the total consumption of CPU, RAM, storage, and bandwidth, because that's what an MSP will see on an invoice from US Signal is just pure consumption. And this is really important for everyone to remember. Everything at US Signal is month to month. There is no long-term 36-month contract or commit that we make you sign to get a better price like you do at Microsoft and Amazon to get those reserved instance pricing. They make you sign a 3-year contract. We're not going to do that. We're going to give you the best price out of the gate, and everything is month to month. So to recap the server assessment page, once we understand the design, what are they trying to do, and the total consumption, we move to one of the 2 calculators. I'm going to show you both, but I'm going to start on the IS calculator. All your pricing for an MSP is right there on the right, clearly on the right, so you can see everything. There's tiered pricing, so the more you sell, the better your price gets. In the yellow, super simple. You fill in what you needed from the server assessment page. So those 3 servers need 10 virtual CPU, 28 gig of RAM, 700 gig of storage. They're going to need some remote desktop licensing from Microsoft, so you can bring your own from your favorite distributor, or you can use ours. Doesn't matter. Keep in mind, though, we are including the Windows Server license on unlimited servers, so you don't have to worry about CALs or none of that. We got you covered there. The next topic is security firewall. You can bring your own at US Signal. If you want to stand up a virtual firewall, do it. Then you can VLAN everybody off and have segmented customers. You can build it. We have some MSPs that do that. The ones that are doing it's probably like 5%. And we have hundreds of MSPs at US Signal, but there's probably about 5%. And what they've done is they've specialized in security as a service. So they want to layer on their own security offering, intrusion detection and prevention, and that's fine. You can do that here at US Signal very easily. But
Nice.
I can tell you 95% of our partners love the Palo Alto platform. They love that US Signal is managing it for them. They don't have to deal with it. And if you want to change, you want to make a rule change, 30 seconds, you got an engineer on the phone, and it's done. It's super simple.
Beautiful.
Next is bandwidth, right? So then what you do is you layer on symmetrical up and down internet bandwidth that meets that individual customer's needs. So in this case, it's 20 meg up and down, and that's perfect for 40 desktops, 40 remote desktops to use. Most customers will have 50 meg on premise or 100 meg, some type of cable, but we don't need to match that because really all you need, Microsoft best practices is about 256K of bandwidth per user. So you can do the math on that. So 20 meg is going to be great. Once you've completed the top 2 sections, you've built out what we like to call a virtual private data center, where you've got all your compute just for that client. You've got a dedicated firewall. No one's sharing it. You got a dedicated internet port. No one's sharing it like at the public clouds. This is purely private cloud. The next topic is data protection. So if you're in love with a backup program, I don't care what it is, if they target object storage, you can use US Signal's object storage at a penny a gig. StorageCraft, Axion, MSP360, CloudBerry, Veeam. Veeam uses object storage. So we're a Veeam availability suite partner. I think we're in the top 5 in the country.
Okay.
So if you have customers that have Veeam licensing and you want to target US Signal as a cloud backup, we can get you down to as low as a penny a gig. So keep that in mind for any type of Veeam requirements. We can also supply the licensing. It's only $7 a server. So if you need licensing, we got you covered there.
And no contracts with that either, right?
No, all month
to month.
Yeah, everything's
perfect.
Yep. Yeah. Now, Acronis is a very, very popular backup solution for MSPs. And I think the number one reason is because you don't have to worry about licensing. It comes with it. So you get an MSP portal. You can manage all your clients. You get all the software. So you don't have to worry about agent fees and none of that. You just pay per gig. So at US Signal, your starting price is 9 cents a gig. And then again, that includes your portal, the software, everything. And we can get as low as 7 cents. So in this example, I've layered on to match their production environment. Remember, their production environment was about 700 gig. And typically it's going to be way less after, compression and deduplication, but just for budgeting purposes, when you're building out a quote, I like to match storage with their backup repository, just for budgeting.
That makes sense.
And if nobody's familiar with Zerto replication, I want to take a minute to talk about Zerto. So Zerto is not backup, it is replication. I like to call it Veeam on steroids, because Veeam replication just takes a snapshot of the backup. That's all it's doing. That's what Veeam replication is basically a copy of the backup. Now Zerto replicates data at the IO level, below the server OS, and it happens in seconds. So every few seconds, data is replicating from the source. That source could be on-premise, or it could be in a US Signal cloud environment, replicating to a second Geo-Diverse data center. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now here is the cool part. This is fully managed by US Signal, the solution we call DRAS. We provide a warm site. So if you're replicating from an on-premise environment, you might have a customer with 15 servers and 5 of them might be mission critical. What does it cost to stand up a colo for DR? It's expensive. It could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, depending on the size of the business. US Signal matches CPU and RAM to the source environment, and nobody pays for it. We got it covered. We also create a written DR playbook, and that DR playbook gets trued up with the MSP every month and the customer if they want to include them. So any changes, new servers addition, we update that playbook. Also, we include 2 annual DR tests. And as we all know, customers that are under compliance, whether it's HIPAA, PCI, or government, they're mandated to test and document their DR strategy at least once a year. We give you 2. So wholesale to an MSP is $30 for this solution per server, 8 cents a gig storage. Now look at this, it's $162. There's this business owner over here with 40 employees, right, and 3 servers. For $162 a month, he is sleeping better at night, knowing he's not going to pay ransom because he's covered. So he's got a great backup. He's got replication going on with journaling. Let me recap the page now. What we've done, we've taken the server assessment of those 3 servers. We've built out infrastructure as a service with some licensing for desktops and OSs included. We've added the Palo Alto firewall, internet bandwidth just for that customer, dedicated internet port. We've layered on a Cronus backup, so it can, this is a self-service portal. So if you want it managed by US Signal, $10 a server. US Signal will take the load off your backups and manage them for you. We've layered on replication. Down at the bottom, here's your monthly cost. 40 users in this example averages out to about less than $21 per seat.
Wow.
All in. Backup, replication, licensing, everything. Now keep in mind, this is a do-it-yourself model, right? We're going to give you VMware, we're going to give you the compute, and you log in and you build your servers your way. Now we do offer migration services as well. We have a very deep bench at USA. Remember, we have over 300 employees. We have a professional service engineering team. They specialize in migration. That's all they do all day long. So if you have servers, customer with servers, they want to lift and ship them in an as-is state, we can help you with that. We use Zerto a lot of times for that migration, but we have other tools as well. Depending on the source environment, the average migration cost will range anywhere between $250 a server and $400 or $500. But again, it all depends on the source environment. What are they running? VMware, Hyper-V, a System Center, Virtual Machine Manager loaded, is vCenter loaded? All those are variables that we go through discovery before we can actually create a statement of work for migration.
Wow.
Last thing I want to show you is the Virtual Workspace calculator. So this simplified things, right? So you got 40 users. They're $35 a desktop. Now that $35 is a managed desktop, fully managed by US Signal. So when I say fully managed, it includes nAble RMM. So we're loading our RMM tool on there. You don't have to load your RMM tool. We give you visibility into ours. So you're going to know the thresholds on CPU, RAM, storage. We patch and update the OS. We remediate any issues that come up on those Windows servers. You don't have to touch them. You take care of level 1. We'll manage everything else. We also include Sentinel 1 antivirus and we're including a managed backup to that Geo-Diverse data center with 7 dailies, 4 weeklies, and 2 monthlies. If you need something more or something custom, we can handle that too. So in this example, it's super easy. You don't have to go through all the IaaS and adding a firewall and bandwidth and all that stuff. We're taking care of all that backup. If you need an additional server for data servers, you can add that. If you want VDI users, you can add them right there as well. The application servers come with a 2x4x100. So anything above that, let's say you had a SQL server that needed, 8 gig of RAM and 8 virtual CPU and 64 gig of RAM, then you just add the difference down here. So all your IaaS pricing is here. So again, if I needed 6 CPU, I would just add 4, right? Because 2 is already included in that server. If I need 32 gig of RAM, well, 4 is already included, so I would add 28. It's super simple to use to get a good estimate. Let me just take this to the bottom here and show you what's at the bottom. So here's your MSP cost. It's just brought down from the upper section. Still 35 bucks a user average because I didn't add in anything else. Down at the bottom, there's a spot for MSPs to add their own margin. So if you wanted to deliver a $99 fully managed desktop to your clients before you put in 365, you could even include 365 in there if you wanted to, but you're making, you can see, almost 65% margin, not markup, because we're all business owners. We know the difference between markup and margin. I learned that early on in life because that'll come to bite you. But in this case, you can change that. Let's say you wanted to make $100 a seat, so you just change that number right there, and you got a tool that's going to provide you all the pricing, cost for the user. You deliver to the end user and your margin. So again, these tools, everyone, is not the end all be all, right? We're trying to provide these tools that you can take them as a template and then bring them to your office, build them out. We've got so many MSPs that have customized this and even made them into web forms and a lot of cool stuff for their internal sales team. But that's really it, except for one last thing. I wanted to show the promo that we have going on. Oops, wrong browser here. Right there, 60 days free for the virtual workspace, minimum of 5 seats.
Okay.
There's a link right here. I think we'll provide that in the Facebook group as well. There's a link where you can actually sign up. All you do is fill out this form. What happens once you fill out this form is you're going to get a meeting scheduled with me and one of our engineers. We'll take you through some discovery, have some discovery forms that we'll want to get filled out so we understand what you're trying to build, right? How many users above and beyond 5, what applications are they loading, and we'll discuss all that. Once we get that discovery done, we turn it over to our implementation team, and then we'll set a date. It's usually within a short amount of time, and then we go through that implementation and training at the same time that I mentioned earlier. So hopefully this was a very informative meeting today for everybody. We look forward to having an opportunity to discuss our solutions, whether it's IaaS or backup, Veeam backup, Acronis, you want some Zerto replication, whatever you need from a private cloud perspective, US Signal's here for you.
That is excellent. I can't wait to dive in deep to this. This is exciting.
It is. It's really a game changer, Scott. We've been doing some events, right? So we were all on hold last year because of COVID, all this virtual stuff. What a joke that was. I felt like I was on the Brady Bunch, all these screens and people, and it's just weird. But we were in Dallas about 4 weeks ago. Okay. And we had this virtual workspace up and demo in it, and we had a line. People were signing up for it. And then we went to Atlanta last week for Channel Pros. And it's very widely accepted at 35 bucks a seat. It's really a game changer for MSPs, especially it's fully managed and you get your portal. So it's really, I think, a missing piece of the puzzle for a lot of MSPs out there.
Well, like for MSPs who are struggling with the fact, let's face it, when Office 365 first came out, MSPs fought it. No, they're going to take our money. We were scared of it. But now we love selling it. I won't do anything but sell Office 365 or Microsoft 365 now. It's to me, I think that, the managed cloud desktops, isn't that what you call it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
virtual workspace, but
yeah,
yeah.
virtual workspace. So, the virtual workspace to me is where the future is, and we've got to adapt. And this is the easiest solution that I've seen to take an MSP can take that road. Everything's laid out. It's not a lot of figuring out to do. So this is a beautiful solution to me. And I like I said, I can't wait to dive in. So, and you've made it so easy with the templates.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. We've really tried, and we've got a great team back at US Signal, as you can imagine. Not only providing migration services and our 24/7 talk that you can speak to in about 30 seconds, but we've got an amazing cloud engineering team that have built the infrastructure and created this virtual workspace. It's really a game changer.
Well, it looks like it. Well, Jerry, is there anything else you want to tell us about? Anything special going on with US Signal?
Yeah, I mean, I think I covered it all. I mean, that's the special thing that's going on at US Signal right now is this virtual workspace. As people would say, it's flying off the shelf, but it is, like I say, it's a game changer for MSPs. I encourage every one of you that has a chance to listen to this video to sign up for your free 60 days and kick the tires on it. Find out what it can do to change your business and increase your margin.
Absolutely. Well, there's nothing to lose. I mean, it's right there in front of you. So that's perfect. Well, Jerry, thanks again for your time. And we sure do appreciate it.
My pleasure, Scott. Thank you as well for the opportunity.
Thanks. Have a great day. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.